I've talked to you a lot of times about phytochemicals and how beneficial they are to the diet, but we've never really talked about what they are and how they work in plants, because they're not there to make you healthy in all actuality. They're there to help the plant. So today we're going to be looking at grapes, and grapes are one of the excellent sources of phytochemicals in the diet, as are all other plants, but we've done a little bit more research on grapes, and so we're going to look at those. As I go through preparing the dish today, I'll try and bring those ideas back and forth and sprinkle them in across here. But I wanted to let you know that a phytochemical is there for a purpose. It's what gives the plant its flavor, its aroma, and those kinds of things. So it's there for a purpose, and that's why you can tell there are so many different kinds and so many different plants, because each of the plants smell different, they taste different, they have a different texture, and phytochemicals are involved in all of those things. They also play another role in plants. They also help protect the plant. So they help protect against insect invasion, they help protect against diseases, they help protect against excess sunlight, and those kinds of features are the same things that are going to come back later when you eat the plant and help protect you. So let's look at what we've got here first of all. Now the thing I'm doing is a spicy grape and pasta salad, and first we're going to make a dressing. Now this needs to sit for about 30 minutes, so I've got one made ahead, but let's look and see what goes in it. There's a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm using a mild olive oil, but you can use whichever kind you have. Then also to that 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce. Now keep in mind, light soy sauce means that it has less sodium, but it's only about 1/3 less than regular. So if you need to cut back on that, feel free to do so if you're on a low sodium diet. Also, 1/2 teaspoon of fresh grated ginger. Now, ginger is something that's fascinating to me. It is something that grows, and in order to get about 1/2 teaspoon, I needed about one of these fingers. And you just grate it down. It becomes pretty mushy because there's so much moisture in it. Store it in the refrigerator, and it'll keep quite a while for you, and just use it a break off a finger at a time as you need it. Now, also in here, we have about 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper or red pepper flakes. Just a little bit, 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil. It has such a strong flavor that there's not a lot required. I'm going to whisk this together, and remember this is going to stand for about 30 minutes. And the last ingredient I'm going to add to this is a clove of garlic. Now this is a garlic clove. It's whole. You don't cut it up because you want to take it out later. So what I've done is put it on a toothpick, and then I won't have to fish for it later or get out a spoon. I'll just pretty much be able to grab a hold of the toothpick and pull it out, and I won't have too strong of a garlic flavor. If as you make this you want it to be stronger in garlic, feel free to mince up part of it or crush part of it and leave it in here too. All right, that's the salad dressing. It needs to sit about 30 minutes. Now also in here is angel hair pasta. Now as we go through this summer, one of the things that you're going to hear in the news on a regular basis is the need to conserve energy, and part of that is what's coming out of California. But our own energy costs raised quite a bit during the winter time, and they're probably going to increase as we go throughout the summer. So what I'm going to try and do for you this summer is throw in some ideas on ways to cut down on energy use. This pasta needs to be hot. We need about 8 ounces of it. But there's no reason that you can't cook an entire pound of pasta at one time. Store it in the refrigerator. You might want to oil it a little bit, chill it down before you put it in there, and then you'll have the amount you need for something else. And it enables you to heat the house once, have everything ready to go for a second meal, perhaps even put it in the freezer, and it's a quick way to save energy. Now another thing that we're putting in here is the dressing, and I have one made ahead, as I said. I'm going to shake this one up a little bit because it's been sitting down, and I put it in a small container so I wouldn't have to whisk it. And we need about 1/2 of it. Here you can see the toothpick. It's going to float to the top. Get rid of that and stir in about 1/4 cup of dressing, which will be about half the recipe. And stir that together with the pasta a little bit. Now, the reason that we wanted the pasta hot is because it's going to absorb these flavors better while it's hot than it will when it has cooled down. Now, if we had a little bit more time, I would at this point allow this to cool a little bit so that the vegetables aren't cooked, but since we don't, we won't. Now, here's another example of where you can save energy and costs as well. We've got 2 cups of chicken. This is chicken that's left from another meal. So you make sure that when you're conserving energy, you make sure that you do things as far as storage and use time that will take in consideration quality as well as food safety factors. But there's no reason to, again, reheat, even with a microwave, when you can do some of these things ahead of time. To that, we are going to add a cup and a half of grapes. Now you can use whichever grapes you're producing in your garden. The nice thing about grapes, remember those phytochemicals that are in here. With grapes, we find that they're high in several different kinds of phytochemicals, as are all plants, as I mentioned. But the ones that have been studied most are phenols, or phenolic compounds, and these help protect against cancer, most likely breast cancer, colon cancer, and liver cancer seem to be the ones that are most affected by consuming these kinds of compounds. And also they help reduce your risk of heart disease. So most of the phenolic compounds appear to be in the skin, so if you'd lived in Cleopatra's time, you might not have gotten those protective benefits. But these days, most people aren't going to be doing much grape peeling, so that you'll get those benefits from eating any kind of grape in all probability. And if it's not those benefits, because there's so many different kinds of phytochemicals, you're going to get other benefits too. So eating a wide variety increases your risk of protection against a wide variety of things. Also in here, a cup of broccoli florets, about a cup of sweet red peppers that have been julienned, half a cup of celery that we've sliced. I did it on the diagonal because I thought it might look a little better. And about 1/4 of a cup of green onions or sweet onions if you have those instead. And about 2 tablespoons of cilantro. Simply stir them together until they're well blended. And you get a lot of the benefits of a lot of phytochemicals, as well as a lot of flavor. A lot of these have not been cooked, and so you get that fresh nutrition flavor. If you did want to blanch the broccoli in order to soften up a little bit, or if you had some left from another day, that would be another option for you. There you go. Something easy, quick. This would be something that could be kept for the next meal the next day. If anything, the flavors are going to blend together a little bit better. You might have some color loss because of the action of the vinegar on the pigments in the broccoli and the red pepper, but it's still going to stay pretty, it's still going to stay crisp, and I think you're going to like it. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.